Hi everybody, my name's Alan. On behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. So, you know, you're sitting and you're watching, and whether it's on a TV or a computer, an iPad now, a tablet, you're seeing this image, these sounds coming through. And maybe for this particular time, there are no thoughts going through your head, you know, so it's just, you're focused, you're watching, you're listening, you know, what's going to be said, and if you've seen the show before, you know, what's Alan going to talk about? If you're coming across it and you haven't seen the show before, what's this about? But so much of our lives, we have so many thoughts and so many conceptions of ourselves and so many seeming identities. And you know, I guess the question is, you know, how do they serve us, and if they serve us, and do they serve us, and in what way they serve us? And we have this expression around bridging, you know, and the expression is, whatever you think you are, you're more. And so every identity and every idea and every concept you have of yourself, as a son, a daughter, a mother, a child, an artist, a healer, a psychic, an author, an entrepreneur, male, female, young, old, gay, straight, from this country or that country, this religion or that religion. Whatever you think you are, you're more. And what does that mean? I mean, what exactly does that mean? Because you know, for most of us, we take those conceptions and definitions pretty seriously. But do they really serve us in that sense of our true happiness, in the sense of our true experience of what it is to be in a human body, in its true form, in its root, in its heart, in the love of what it is, in the glory, in the blessing, in the magnificence, in the grandeur, in the glory of what it is to be a human being. Because in this human body, we can experience ourselves as more. Let's put it that way. You know, we use the words infinite, we use the words inclusive, we use the words unconditional love. But we can experience ourselves as whatever you think you are, you're more. And when you have that experience of the more, of the infinite, of the inclusive, of what people call God, truth, Brahman, oneness, you know, there are a lot of words for it. But that experience where you do feel infinite, where you do feel included and connected, and everything is one, and there is a oneness, and you experience it. And if you can have that experience over and over and over again and rub up against that magnet of the infinite, of inclusion, of love, then you realize, in essence, you are that, and you're not those seemingly smaller things, those whatever you think you are. You're the more. You are always the more. And that's, in a sense, what Jesus meant when he said, the Father and I are one, the Goddess and I are one, infinite and I are one, love and I are one, truth and I are one. Oneness is one. There is only one. And that is our real gift now. That is our real blessing. That is real experience now. That vibration, that energy is coming through your tablet, your computer, your television set, your city, your country, your planet. Because there's so much of that coming through so many people in so many ways. So many people are having so many gifted experience of that unconditional love, of that infinite, of that oneness. That it's such a blessed time now as a human being, that so much opportunity exists for whenever we turn, if we turn with the intention of knowing that love, of knowing that infinite, it is available. We know it's available because we're coming up to literally the 300th show. And we've done shows with people whose lives are dedicated to that infinite, that inclusion, that unconditional love, and they are unrelentingly persistent and unrelentingly loving and unrelentingly. Are they perfect? Are they always in that state? You know, more or less. Let's say that for now. But that's the intention always. And tonight's guest is one of those grand healers and psychics and mediums and spiritual teachers. Hans Christian King is a spiritual teacher. He's a psychic medium. And he's been sharing his extraordinary gifts for over 50 years. And that's the ability to communicate with the realm of spirit and to act as a medium for all types of individuals all over the planet, to give them messages between them and their own personal angels, and to open up that world of the infinite, to open up that world of the oneness to people all over the globe, to break open that concept, to break open that whatever you think, you're more. You're more. You're always the more. And he's just a humble servant of that love, of that connection, of that healing. Because there's so much disconnection. There's so much to think. We think, and therefore we think we are that. And as I've said over and over, we are the more. We are the infinite. We are the inclusive. So whenever you think of yourself as any less than that, you are the more. And that's what Hans is here to do. He's here to heal the heart, to heal that illusion of separation. And it's really a great honor to have Hans here with us. As most of you know, we show, beautiful art music videos of incredible talents and singers and artists for the Bridging International Healing Art Project, which I'll talk about in a little while. And tonight we have two beautiful music videos from extraordinarily talented people, old friends of Bridging, Alan Weisman, who's did this beautiful video. We've shown it before, and everybody loved it so much we want to show it again. Liminality, and then someone we've never shown her videos before, or maybe one time before, Elizabeth Scott. We're showing Tell Me, a beautiful video of hers. So you have that to look forward to. And also we have, as most of you know as well, we're in the middle of an international healing art project that came to us here at Bridging as a vision, as a dream, as an acupuncture, as a way to heal the heart of the planet, a way to heal that disconnection by using the reach of Bridging, which is on all over the world through YouTube and television and satellite and Sky Channel and Vimeo and Google Video and all kinds of different video stations and all kind of links from all the artists and all the guests. And we will, if you produce anybody, any skill level, any age, produce a new original piece based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth, any size, any format. We'll put it on the shows. We'll have an extraordinary International Healing Art Project website, which is Heaven to Earth Art, heaventoearth.com. We'll have gallery openings. Hopefully at some point we'll get them in museums and hospitals where people can really be healed by this extraordinary energy of these. So many artists have done so many beautiful pieces. Up until this point, we probably have over 400 pieces from all over the world, every size, every shape, jewelry, any format, any size, any shape. Get it to us here in California. Just this week, we've gotten 5 pieces in from Peru, 5 pieces in from India, 1 piece in from England. And last week we got these incredible pieces from artists all over the world. They're just coming in because people want to be part of that creativity, the collaboration, the healing, the oneness, the love, really. And so tonight we have 2 beautiful pieces, all new original pieces based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth. One is by a long-time Bridging crew, family, loving part of Bridging, Jerry Douglas, who's been on the Bridging shows for years and years and years. And he's done 3 or 4 unbelievably beautiful pieces. We're going to show one tonight called Morning. And go to the website, Heaven to Earth Art, and look up Jerry Douglas. They're alphabetical so it'll be under J by first name. And see the incredible work he's done, you can just feel his dedication, his commitment, his love. And the other piece we're showing tonight is an extraordinary art photo piece, photography, kind of digital, and just an incredible piece from Jeff Polikoff, another friend of Bridging. So it's an opportunity really for us all to recognize and to be part of the recognition that we are the more. We are the more, we are the more, we are the more. And, that's our opportunity and that's our chance. So join me in a short meditation. Then we'll have the Alan Weisman video, and then Hans and art and music, and we are the more. Okay, that was beautiful. Okay, so the first video, as I said, Alan Weisman, Liminality. Special thanks to Alan. His website is liminality.net. Liminality.net. Enjoy. everybody. Welcome back. So that was Alan Weisman, Liminality. Again, liminality.net. Alan's just been a special friend of Bridging's for a long time. Beautiful video, incredible music. Go to his website. There are a lot of links to beautiful music that he's made. And the incredible piece of art that I talked about a little earlier, in between Hans and I, is Jerry Douglas, a Bridging family member for a really long time. He's done at least 3 other pieces. Go to the website, heaventoearthart.com. It's a mixed media. Jerry's from Solvang, California. You know, it's just, everybody is welcome to join us. All new original pieces based on the theme of bridging heaven and earth as a healing, as an acupuncture for the planet, to be part of this love, to be part of the creativity. Go to Heaven to Earth Art and just go through page after page after page. It is so beautiful and so inspiring for everybody. So, Hans,
hey,
finally we get to say hi to you.
How are you?
I'm doing great. So, at the opening, I said that you've had this long history of, being in service and being, serving that love and that connection. Why don't you talk about when it first came that you knew you had this gift, even though you thought everybody had the same?
I did. I was about 3 years old, and I would see people, and they would say things to me, and other people couldn't see them, and I thought, well, that's strange. If I can see them, why can't everybody see them? And I always noticed that the other side of the spirits would give messages for people. There wasn't long conversations as such. Tell so-and-so, please, that this, grandmother says hello, and please wear the ring she left her. And it got to be so that I incorporated it into my life as that's my real life. I did not know that I was any different than any other child. The kids made certain on the schoolyard that I knew it. They called me a witch, and they used to chase me and try and beat me up, but I was really fast. So
you developed that gift.
I tell you, by 13, I was 6'3".
I had a good run.
And I could run, let me tell you, I'd run anybody. Born right over here in Los Angeles on Sunset Boulevard, actually.
And how was it in your family? I mean, did they think that you were odd or?
My father had left us early, and I came to have an adopted father. My mother had always been interested in things that were not of this earth. She wasn't airy-fairy, but she believed there must be people on other planets, and she believed in spirit and such. And she used to play a game with the people at the Ralph's supermarkets with me, because she would take me to Ralph's. Now, mind you, back in the late 40s, early 50s. She would say to me, before we go in, write down the amount of the groceries. And I would write down an amount, and then when the gals would ring them up, back in those days they had to press keys in order to do it, I was never wrong. And I tell the story that I belonged to the Hollywood Boys Club, and one Halloween time they had those water jugs that you turn upside down and put in the cooler, and it was full of corn candy, and they said, anybody who can guess how much corn candy was in here? Well, I had corn candy sandwiches, corn candy, I gave it away for months and months, right down to the corn. And at that point, my mother knew that there was something going on there.
And how did that develop, and how did you kind of come up with this is my service?
Right. Well, when I found out that I was, what was I called? Weird. When I found out I was weird, guidance says to me, you have 2 ways you can handle this, son, the spirits that walk with me. You can be human about it and suffer it, or you can use it, as we tell you to do, as a wonderful opportunity to advance yourself and others through this wisdom. And I chose that way.
And was it an easy choice for you at that time?
Yes.
It was.
Because the difference in the vibration, you see, between the humanness of who I was very harsh, because I was not accepted. But the vibration from the heart chakra to the spirit was very soft, very loving, very understanding. I've never heard them ever criticize or say a harmful thing to anyone. I've given over 54,000 readings, and I have never heard spirit criticize anyone ever. But it was different. I can't say to you that I had a wonderful childhood, because that would not be true. I had a very guarded childhood, because people would ask me things, and girls would come up to me and say, is my boyfriend fooling around? And I learned to no longer say yes.
Yeah, the response was not good.
No.
You weren't that popular.
I would say, I don't know, I'm not getting it, which wasn't true, of course, because I was. And then they would teach me that you don't want to involve yourself in what they used to call frivolity thinking. You don't care about who's cheating or who's doing. That's not what our work is about. We talk about the essence of the soul of the individual. I think I said to you before the show started, I was doing a lecture in Miami, and one day this lady brought her daughter to the lecture, and I had this habit back in those days of saying, can anybody tell me who we really are? This little girl raises her hand, and she says, oh yes, we're just baby angels having a human experience. And from that, I saw that connection. But she had that. How did she know that? She said she always knew that she was of the spirit, but not of the body that she saw in the mirror. And for me, one of the great works that I do now is teaching parents how to deal with intuitive children. Now, all children are intuitive. The good book will tell you that, out of the mouths of babies. Children are closer to the source. We're closer as we come in and closer as we go out. I remember when my grandmother was passing away. She was very, very lucid, and she said to me, honey, I got to go probably next week or the week after. And I said, why, Gran? She says, well, your granddad was here, and he told me that it was time for me to go. And I said, well, thank him very much, but I think you need to stay here. And she said, well, honey, I don't think I'll be able to do it. And she died in 2 weeks. So I've walked so close with the Spirit that people have often thought I'm not of this world. Well, my family will tell you that anyway, but I just tend to be a little bit different because I see it from two sides, you see. I believe that the greatest destructive force in this world is mind chatter. I think it's the one thing that stops us from ever being who we truly are.
Just define or describe mind chatter.
The mind chatter does not, when you wake up in the morning and you go and you look in the mirror, the mind doesn't say to you, oh my God, you're just gorgeous. I think I'll have some of you today. You're wonderful. I love who you are. Don't worry, there's nothing you need to be. You're already perfect for me. On the contrary, you go look in the mirror and you go, ugh. And then you start the process of tearing yourself down. I'm too old. I'm too fat. And it starts to just rip at us. And then we race around and we try to become better than who we are. We run in and out of malls. You ever see people in malls? They're insane. Trying to buy shoes, clothes, to look better than they already are. That's impossible. That's impossible. Because nothing that is human, nothing that is man-made is going to survive. I don't care who you are. And when the Spirit said to me that people need to stop trying to be successful, they already are. You take your success to your endeavor can never make you successful. When I learned all of this, I was able to see things from 2 points of view with one individual. I was able to recognize the humanness in what he was trying to do. And I was able to communicate the spirit, the soul of that person with their guides, their helpers, their friends, and help them to better understand that they're wasting their time with what they're doing there. Here's what they want to be doing. And so that, to me, is basically what I'm now teaching, is teaching individuals that they are so much greater than anything they see or think. And folks, what someone thinks of you is just none of your business. But what you think of what they think of you should be very much your concern. Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker, give it where the dues where I belong.
Say that sentence again.
What someone thinks of you is really none of your business, but what you think of what they think of you should be very much your concern. I believe that one of the greatest destructive forces in the universe also is human ego. We rarely ever say to ourselves, thank you, you're enough for me. We rarely ever say to our children, do you know just who you are right now is perfect for God? And if it's perfect enough for God, I guarantee it's perfect enough for me. Tell me what you want to do. We actually have the unmedicated gall, Alan, to tell children that someday they could be somebody if they only get this education, or if they only do this, or they only do that. Can you imagine the gall of telling a little child that someday it could be somebody? Well, what have you just said? You are not somebody. That breaks my heart. How dare we do that? And then we raise these destructive children who go on to have more destructive children, rather than being told, oh, honey, you're already perfect. You know, if you want to accomplish this or that, one of the things that might help you is this particular kind of education I know people will be looking for in that endeavor. If you were to approach it from that way, then the child would already be enough and be acquiring things to its enoughness, some skills to accomplish what it would like to accomplish. But we tell it in the beginning, it can never be anybody unless it has this, thus, or such. I've always had this wondering about automobiles and human ego. All cars have 4 wheels. All cars have an engine, and they will all take you to the market and a vacation. Some cars cost $17,000, and I saw a car today that cost $240,000. They went to the market to go shopping. Our ego, our human ego, is the sadness of spirit. Because when spirit looks at us, they only see the baby angel. Is the baby angel's vibration on track for what it came in to do? Remember always, Alan, we are not here by accident. We are here by design. Nobody made us come here. I want everybody to stop bawling God out. You know, when I was a kid, I used to say to God, I think you've lost your mind. I used to say to God, you know what? Some days I think you just get out of bed on the wrong side. How could you have allowed this to happen? Or how could? And they say, to be very clear, but honey, it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with choices of mankind. I once said at a conference, I'm known for saying this particular thing, but I very much like what Spirit said. I went to a UN meeting on world hunger, and everybody's going on about world hunger, world hunger. They came to me and they said, well, Mr. King, what do you think about world hunger? I said, there isn't any. Well, they went crazy, and oh my God, how could you, what do you mean? And I said, no, there's a refusal to feed the hungry, and there's a big difference between world hunger. We have plenty of food to feed the hungry. We just don't do it. Perception. With our children, we teach them always that they are not enough. We may tell them forever how much we love them, but rarely do we tell them that just who they are in the moment is perfect for God. I don't think we do that enough. And so some of my work now is going to be dedicated to teaching parents how to be with children, because all children are intuitive already.
Wouldn't you say that until the person knows how to be with themselves, they're never going to vibrate? They're going
through the motions, Alan. They're going through the motions.
They don't have the capacity at that time to put that energy and that understanding and that vibration into their children?
So we have to start with the children.
You have to start with somebody, right?
But you have to start with the children. Uh-huh. You have to start with the children. Our society has to change to make our people enough. It certainly won't happen in my lifetime. Maybe it'll happen in yours, but certainly not in mine.
Are we eliminating the possibility of epiphanies, or?
No, I don't think so.
So we don't really know when.
No, the good part of all this is that we don't have a clue.
Exactly what I was thinking.
We don't have a clue. Right. I think I was telling somebody, they've just found some bones in the British Museum. They're 200 million years older than they're supposed to be, which means dinosaurs were here 200 million years. And they just found a new galaxy that says if that galaxy is there, then the universe could not have been created the way they said it was created, which was last year they created. They don't know. Right. And what we have to do is make it okay. Does it change the essence of a flower or a stream or a cloud? In the moment is the wonder of your life. Not in what happened, not what's about to be, just in this moment. And the wonder, my dear friend Michael Tamura talks about it, the wonder of this moment is all you have. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow may never arrive. Just this moment, find something beautiful to look at. Find something beautiful to say or to hear. Listen to Alan's luminosity. Find the beauty of the moment, and those moments will last the rest of this incarnation. I always cracked up that people went to church to find God. God's not in church. God's on a beach in Maui having a nice time. Why aren't you? But there comes a time, I believe there comes a time, after working with Spirit all these years, what I have seen is unconditional love, no judgment. And spirit cries when you cry. They hurt when you hurt, because they're trying so hard. All of us have guides, helpers, friends, angels, whatever you want to call them, working with us on a daily basis. Part of my work is to tell people and to teach them, which I'm very happy to do, how they too can communicate with the other side and bring more of a togetherness. Because if we're just baby angels having a human experience, one day this will do this, but this will never, ever fade. Never fade. So your connection every night, I think Michael Demura says it, that when you go to sleep at night, it's a rehearsal for dying. Because we actually spend an awful lot of time on the other side every single day and evening. You know, we're so afraid to die, and we can't wait to fall asleep, which is the same thing. Losing consciousness. You know, one of the things I think about mediumship that is wonderful is you're able to bring back proof that the consciousness of the person you have lost has survived. Isn't that what we really want to know more than anything else? We want to know, is my mother still my mother? Is my dad still my dad? Is my child somewhere? Is it safe? Is someone looking after it? And what mediumship is about is bringing the person who's here in touch with the people who are on the other side, which is, to me, a wonderful gift. I've had that all my... I am, without doubt, the most blessed person I've ever known because of the work that I get to do. Bringing all this together to help people to understand. Somebody said to me the other day, what is it I wanted to be remembered for? And I said, teaching them that they weren't alone. I think that's the greatest gift you can give anybody, to know that someone actually listens to all that mind chatter that you produce, and they don't care. They love you just the way you are.
That's great. That's a good time to take a break. Love you just the way you are. And now we'll break into song.
Thank you. Do we have the Hallelujah Choir on?
Right. The Agape Band will
now perform for us.
All right, but we are going to have an incredible musician, Elizabeth Scott, singing "Tell Me." And special thanks to Elizabeth. And this song was co-written by Kim Carroll and Elizabeth, and also Ron Rollo, and the drums by Quinn. And her website is elizabethscott.com, Elizabeth Scott, Lisbeth, Scott.com. So Elizabeth Scott, Tell Me, enjoy.
Raise your voice so I can hear. Walk me back to what is clear. And if I should sleep in the mouth of shame, whisper that I'm not too late. Even the good forget their game. Tell me, yeah, well, tell me, oh, I'm afraid. Well, if I should lie in a bed of fire, or pull me out though I am tired, I'm a thief and I'm alive. If I should weep in the morning rain, tell me that we're all the same. Some are gone and some remain. Tell me, yeah, tell me, oh, I'm free. Raise your voice so I can hear, and walk me back to what is clear. And if I should sleep in the mouth of shame, whisper that I'm not to blame. Even the good forget their game. Tell me, yeah, but tell me, oh, I'm afraid.
Thanks, everybody. So, yeah, Elizabeth Scott, Tell Me, beautiful. Thank you, Elizabeth, for letting us show that beautiful video. It's Elizabeth Scott, LISBETH.com. And the beautiful piece of art, again, an all-new original piece done specifically for the Bridging Heaven and Earth Healing Art Project. It's Perfect Moment, Jeff Polikoff from Van Nuys, California. It's a digital HDR photograph. And what I would suggest you do, because Jeff, knows a lot about photography and this particular new way of doing things, to create incredible pieces like this, go to heaventoearthart.com and go to the artist page and look up Jeff. And he's written a lot about that and how this piece meant a lot to him and how, the art of the HDR photography, how that works and all that stuff. So again, everyone is welcome to join us, and the power of us all working together, playing together, collaborating together, healing together is just enormous. We have no idea of the power of us coming together. So on that note, here we go.
Nice
the power of us coming together.
Lead-in.
Okay. So at the opening, I talked about whatever you think you are, you're more. And in essence, you spoke that at the first section. How do we go from think to more?
By believing it, trusting it, knowing it. The key is to understand that the flowers and the bees and the air and the stars, we are part of all of that. By calming the mind chatter, sitting down and saying and repeating to ourselves, I am enough, just as I am enough, God loves me. And when we finally do the brainwashing to get rid of all the old doubts and fears, you will notice a lightness begins to occur from your chest. As you begin to eliminate more and more of the old ways, the old beliefs, the fears. So it comes down to, you must believe. Now, believing is very hard. But there is a wonderful saying in the Bible that I just love. It says, blessed is he who in knowing serves, but twice blessed is he who in not knowing serves anyway. When the God force sees you trying, when they see you doing it anyway, believing, even though all the fears come up in you and the doubts come up with you and all the stuff that goes out there, they begin to pack up the energy behind you to lift you higher and higher until your belief literally overcomes all the fears, all the doubts. I am that I am. It is sufficient unto this day and always. When you finally put yourself out in that place, where you refuse to build a home for fear any longer, when you refuse to listen to the anger and your mother's voice or your boss's voice, then you begin to become one with everything, because you are a perfect link in all that is. You're no better, no worse than anyone, and God loves you so much. My radio show on Thursday night, I always end with saying, and I want you all to remember that God does not love anyone more in this world than you. When I say that to audiences, you can see people in the audience with tears coming down. That concept has never occurred to them, because they were always taught they weren't enough.
For some reason.
Yeah, always.
Right.
You know, when someone gets fired, turn to your boss and say, thank you. And so thank you. I didn't like this job because it didn't work for me. Now you've given me an opportunity to find out who I am and what I can really do and to go somewhere where I really will be appreciated. Because that's the truth. It's hard being a spirit in human form. Every day something is out there reminding you that you're not enough.
That you're separate from...
That you're separate. All this separateness. We're governed by fear. You know, and the worst things that happen to people, I think, is the loss of their spiritual innocence. I think that's the worst thing that ever happens. By returning to your spiritual innocence, it doesn't mean you can't have experiences. It's like, for instance, in teaching, prayer. Spirit has always said to me, tell them never to pray for anything. I want this or I want that or something. Tell them to pray for the experience of the following, please. Because we really don't know what we're wanting, because we're coming out of the humanness, not out of the divine. So
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done. So when you pray that I would like the experience of the following, and I always say to my highest good, always, it's amazing because you get that experience. What people don't realize is their job is to tell Spirit what they want the experience of. The job of Spirit, the God force, is to present the doors that allow you to have that experience. People keep waiting for God to tell them what to do. Never going to happen. Because the greatest gift that God ever gave us was free will. And once you understand that, oh, I'm in charge. Dr. James Allen, great British metaphysician, as a man thinketh, said, they themselves are makers of themselves. The single hardest lesson, one of two, I told you the other one a little while, to help people to understand that they themselves are makers of themselves. They are not victims of anything, victims of anyone. And I say to people, can you tell me anything that's going on in your life today you did not create? And that floors them, because they don't realize that they're creating the hell they're living in. And when you begin to believe, when you begin to understand that God loves you so, that you don't have to be a religious person, it would be helpful to be a spiritual person. Once you begin to believe that, there is a certain lightness that brings a tremendous amount of energy into your heart chakra. And all of a sudden you may start to cry, you may start to laugh, and you realize, oh my goodness, I created all this. And the goodness about that is, well, if I could create all this, it would work. Maybe I could create something else, and it would work better for me. Giving people options, spiritual options, is one of my great joys in this life.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And so,
speechless, but doesn't it feel good?
Well, except that we're doing a talk show, it feels great. No.
But you understand what I'm getting at?
No, absolutely.
I hear your audience. Once you remind yourself of what you actually already know, you already were born connected to Spirit. You don't need to seek it out. It already is. You need to take the garbage off that you piled on top of it. Oh, here I am. Oh, this is great. I do love me. And
I am love.
I am love.
Right.
And the great thing about being in the human form is you can be just as ridiculous as you want to be.
Look around.
Just look around. I say to the audience, if you don't think God has a sense of humor, look at your neighbor.
Look in the mirror.
Look in the mirror. Oh my God, you're hysterical.
Right. Right, absolutely.
I used to there's a plane service here in California called Hughes Air West. They had the oldest airplanes in the history of anything. And you would get on and you could see the layers of the paint that could different colors. It'd be about this thick on the side of a plane.
Howard Hughes and
and at that moment, I thought, isn't it funny? People will get on this plane that's older than God and believe it will get them where they want to go, but they won't believe that God loves them so. Isn't that amazing? We're so afraid of dying, and yet the only thing that keeps us alive is something we can't see. Well, in Los Angeles, you can. It's called air. You know, and we're very silly. I like to say to Spirit, spiritually speaking, why don't you take your mind chatter every once in a while, sit in the front row of a theater in your conscience, put your mind chatter up on the stage and watch it. You're absolutely hysterical. You crack God up, I'm telling you. Because I can hear, oh my God, Alan's on channel 13 again. Here he goes. We're funny. In our need to be somebody and our need to be loved, we totally disenfranchise the Spirit within us. We already are perfect.
So you say it's a question almost turning the momentum around.
It is.
Unpeeling the onion,
That's
peeling
right.
the onion.
And the more you unpeel, you finally get down to sizes that are so wafer thin they look like tissue paper. And all of us are little dark caverns of, oh, I wish I hadn't done this, or wish I hadn't said that, or Spirit has no judgment of any of that. Only we do. Only we do. And once we begin to believe, we idolize the masters who sit on the side of a mountain. All the masters are saying is, I already saw that junk. I don't want to be involved. This is peaceful. I've done. I ain't going there again. And why can't we say the same? We have a saying in metaphysics that sounds very rude. It's called, it's not my problem. But that's a truthful statement, Alan. You don't want to allow somebody else's gunk to be put on you. So we all have someone we know that when they really get down, they call us up and they dump on us, right? I haven't.
You probably have a lot.
Oh, you have no idea. You should see my emails. So we
I don't want that kind of gunk in my...
I had, as God's my witness, bring a little levity here, I had this lady who was insisting that I tell her God would approve of her killing her husband.
And it was a reality
and
show.
she would send me these emails filled of all the bad things that he had done. He beat me, blah, blah, blah. So I talked to her one day, and I'm going to call her Alice. And Alice started up with her song and dance, and she said, Mr. King, she said, my husband has been beating me for 36 years. And I said, no, he has not been beating you for 36 years. She said, I ought to know. I have the pictures for the... I said, no, ma'am, he's not. Your husband beat you once. You beat yourself for the rest of the 36 years by staying with him.
Yeah, the first time is the other person.
Bye. I'm out of here.
After that.
That's it. But we become victims of the appearance of things in our life. And I'm still wrestling with my mother, for instance. I've blessed her and I've released her. But she never spoke to me for 31 years of my life. She didn't like me. Can you imagine? And
we're very strange.
We're very strange,
So I can imagine a lot.
But she didn't like my profession.
I can imagine.
Okay, she didn't like my profession. At the beginning she did, but then when I got well known about it, she didn't like that.
Right.
When we understand that we're here because we chose to be here, that there is a path for us, when we understand that God didn't say, oh, look, Warren Buffett needs to have a lot of money, and Mary Jane over here, let her lose her job and be poor. No. Because of the thinking of people, they tend to hurt other people. Downsizing industry, all these different things. But no matter how far we fall, always land on your back, because you can always see where you're going, which is back up. If you land on your face, you will become a victim. I have a dear friend, Alexandra, who passed away recently. She used to say when something went very bad for her, she would say, I wonder what the lesson in this is today. Let me check this out. And she would literally go through her consciousness and say, oh, it's funny. Before I married him, I knew he was like this, but I thought I could change him. I didn't like this job in the first place. She wound up making $400 million after the age of 61 by changing her consciousness. Abundance is everything. People are going to watch this wonderful show, and they're going to see these paintings, they're going to see you, they don't see this tremendous organization you have behind you, but they're going to hear music magically out of the ethers. To me, that's spirit in operation. And that same energy flows through all of us. And we too can feel the paintings. We don't have to own them. We can see them. I encourage people to go and look at the wonderful art that you showed me today, and all the possibilities that they can have with purchasing this art and being with this art. Do that with people too. Migrate towards people who enrich your soul. Their words. Okay. Now you can go and do streaming of even Michael Beckwith's show. There are things they can do now that at our age, I'm a little older than you, would never have been thought possible.
The Flintstones had that, but we didn't in my family.
Yeah. No. It's amazing. No, but what's amazing is we have forgotten our own essence. Stop being victims, everybody. There's no good in it. Because you know what? Nothing you're going to ever do, nothing you're going to create, nothing you're ever going to have, are you ever going to get to keep. We spend so many decades trying to acquire houses and cars and all of that stuff, and you wind up making somebody else rich. Take the time and enjoy life. Remember always that less is more, not more is better. I believe that Spirit has a grand plan for us just as soon as we calm down and cheer up.
So you would say that in any moment we could stop stop the madness in a sense, stop the victimization.
Yes, we can.
And from that moment on, change the momentum, start unpeeling the onion, and get back to the root, the heart, the connection.
Old souls, which many people here today are in your audience, certainly you are, have a primary lesson called self-esteem. It is very pervasive in the spiritual community, and very pervasive in people who are trying to make a change or make a difference. When are they going to be recognized? Not for necessarily what they're doing, but what they're trying to accomplish, you see. If in the moment they would recognize that they already have accomplished what they set out to do, God already approves. You were talking about the little interconnected dots and things. Then we all become the tapestry. I believe that the spirit force, the God force, is like a magnificent diamond, blue diamond. And each one of us is a little facet. But you can't have that magnificent stone be perfect without each facet being perfect. That's what I think.
Yeah, we're all connected.
All connected. One. We're all one. That stone starts out pretty ugly, too. But
we're here to show
you know, for instance, Spirit has said to me, have you ever noticed in your humanness that all things that are beautiful, that we consider beautiful, are conceived in the dark? Diamonds, rubies, babies, gold, pearls. Everything is created in the dark, but it never shines until it reaches the light. And that's what we are. Just crawl out of that place that we build for ourselves, that cave, that dungeon, and say, oh my goodness, the sun's still shining, thank goodness.
Not only is the sun shining, the show's coming to an end as well.
Yes.
It was beautiful. Thank you very much
for having me.
Anybody wants any information about the art project, Hans, workshops, availability, bridging, all the other bridging shows, it's Alan, 805-687-2053, 805-687-2053. Let's go from, or let's recognize we're the more. We love you. Good night. God bless you.
Everyone.